Mighty Mai, well done, Koto. Great to see you all, and welcome to some Sunday afternoon yoga with Liz and with Jim. And if you did have any props, that would be great. Access to a wall is super handy, but maybe you've got blocks, they're always great. A little rolled up hand towel, a strap, anything like that would be fantastic. So we've got a couple of minutes till 4 o'clock, so you could go grab any of those kind of props you might have, or otherwise you could lie down and begin to just slow your breath down. If you did have a little blanket or towel that can go underneath the back of the head, that's a great way to just right away get our neck a little bit aligned with our shoulders, those ears in line with shoulders, and get that beautiful posture going on. Great to see you, Lynn. Fantastic. And so good to hear that we've got some people watching us and coming and joining us for yoga today. So I always like to start the class, whether it's Pilates or yoga, if I can, in an extended position. And today we're really going to look at that upper back, trying to open up that upper back. I posted a wee picture of, I will post a wee picture of what can happen as our chin begins to lean forward and juts forward. The weight that our neck's carrying just gets larger and larger, or heavier and heavier. So we're going to look today at opening up that thoracic spine and those hamstrings, the backline, which then can help us open up through the front a little bit more. So if you did have blocks or one of those lovely blue stability balls, you could put that right away underneath your back to help open up. So Jim, if you roll to one side towards me, just take those blankets away. They're super handy to have, especially with tight hamstrings. We can just put one block beneath your shoulder blades and the other block underneath the back of the head. So just coming lying down. Cool. That's it. I'll put the other head turned to its highest level because Jim is quite tight in his pecs here. And then just bring your hands to your sides, palms up, if that's nice for you. And we just let gravity do the work here. Gravity's going to open up these shoulder blades nice and wide and let them roll down the back and open up these collarbones. And after a few seconds, you might be able to begin to tuck the chin so that your forehead, let me help you there, is just a tiny bit higher than your chin. And then just relaxing there, and we'll come into some beautiful belly breathing. So we're inhaling for 2, 3, 4, and exhaling for 2, 3, and 4. Feeling that belly coming down to our lower belly, inhaling, feel the belly lifting, 2, 3, 4, and exhaling, 2, 3, 4. Inhaling, belly's lifting, maybe those lower ribs are opening as we inhale, 2, 3, 4, and exhaling, 2, 3, 4. A couple more breaths here with your own rhythm, just really lengthening out the breath. Maybe just thinking about opening the palms if you haven't already, to open up and widen those collarbones. Breathing into the sides of the ribs if you can. And if you've got something underneath your upper back, like Jim has, you might be able to breathe into that upper back a little bit and feel the back of the ribs also expanding as we breathe. So just a couple more breaths here like this. Arriving, settling on our mat. And then when you're ready, Jim, just rolling to one side, so rolling to your right. Beautiful. And then you can come and sit against a wall if you've got a wall close by. And it's quite tricky to sit sometimes with straight legs. So you could absolutely cross your legs, you could sit kneeling, or you could put a block or a rolled up blanket underneath your hips as well, just to help have that lovely alignment. And we're just going to get our little rolled up towel, or a tea towel even, any little towel, and roll it up nice and tight. I'm going to pop that little towel just opposite the sternum. So we've got our sternum here, opposite the sternum, just so when we can think about those lowering of the ribs. So I'm going to pop that behind you. Are you comfortable sitting there? Want to block a blanket underneath your hips? Cool. So can you feel? We want to be able to feel our shoulder blades on the mat, on the wall, sorry, and our sacrum, our lower back, on the wall as well. So can you feel both of those things, Jim? I can't see that your hips are against the wall. So you really want to have that sacrum, the back of the hips, up on the wall and these shoulder blades. And for me, if I do that, then there's an inclination to pop my ribs forward. For some of us, it will be to pop our chin forward. Our head can be away from the wall, so it's not the head, it's the shoulder blades and the sacrum. So you just need to go back so you get that back of the hips against the wall. That's it. Don't worry about your head. We don't want the head against the wall. It's these 2 points. Cool. And now, because of that little towel just there, can you think about closing the ribs down? So you've got something to push the front ribs into. You've got that little towel to push the back ribs into. Can you feel that? And you might also be able to feel then as you do that, that tummy starts coming on. Can you feel a little bit of tummy coming on as well? Beautiful. Let's bring both arms straight ahead. And we're just going to I'm going to take my right arm forward and back a couple of times, warming up these muscles underneath the armpit. Just lengthening forward, bringing it back. Still breathing into those lower ribs, keeping the ribs drawing down. One more time forward, one more time back. Let's take that on the opposite side. So I'm doing the arm that's furthest away from you. So is Jim. Trying to keep that connection still with the lower back on the wall, with the scapula, the shoulder blades on the wall, just one at a time. And now let's take both away, stretching away, drawing back, squeezing, drawing away and squeezing. A couple more times there. We're really warming up these shoulders, warming up that upper back a little bit. Nice job. Beautiful. And let's just bring our arms, if you did have a block, you could hold on to it between your hands. And we'll use that block again to try and keep this idea of lengthening down with our ribs, the sternum area, drawing back towards the wall. We're going to exhale to take the arms up a small amount. Inhale to bring them back. Our arms are poles, so how alive can these arms be? Really pushing in and pushing down. Great job. So ribs are coming down as arms are coming up. And again, we're just really trying to think about keeping the ribs under control, warming up the arm and the shoulder socket there. Nice job. Okay, one more little warm up so we can face the wall now and bring ourselves out so that our hand is just at shoulder height. And you might recognize this from a Pilates class, a pec stretch. We're just going to bend the elbow a little bit so that we can roll the shoulder blade down the back. So Jim, if you turned around the first time, that'd be really fantastic. And you could do this standing at a wall as well, but just because it's easier, we've got Jim at this level, we'll do this. So using that wee bend in the elbow, can you move forward to get your palm against the wall so that you move yourself across? We don't want to lean, we want to be in a lovely alignment. Good. Use that bend to help roll these shoulder blades down the back, especially this one. This hand can just hang. We're going to draw the shoulder blade in and down. And that relaxes this top, this trap, which can often get really tight. Great job. Keep pushing your hand into the wall and maybe you can begin to straighten that arm a little bit. So you might need to move yourself away from there a little bit. That's a wee micro bend. Good. Keep using that wee bend to roll the shoulder blade down the back. Keep going. Keep rolling the shoulder blade in and down, in and down. Noticing what compensation you have. So again, Jim's a chin jutter, I'm a rib jutter. So just soften those compensations. Soften your chin, soften your rib cage. Maybe you sway your back, soften heavy the muscles of the glutes down if that's you. And then one more breath here. Can you straighten the arm fully this time? And again, push the heel of the hand into the wall, the fingertips into and roll the shoulder blades down the back So we soften this part. So keep squeezing in here and drawing these muscles down the back even more. That's it. That begins to turn that off. One more breath in. Can you spread your fingers wide, Jim? Beautiful. And then let's turn around and try that on the other side. Could you feel the muscles beginning to kick in? Mm-hmm. Which muscles could you feel working? Right. Arms out again. So start with a micro bend. That just gives you the ability then to externally rotate to get those tricep muscles rolling up. So we're thinking of these muscles here rolling back and up, opening up a little bit. So rolling back and up, rolling back and up. So backwards, backwards, backwards. Just like we've just done, all that rolling backwards helps soften these muscles here, these pec muscles. Push the fingers, widen the fingers nice and wide, and can you begin to soften, open up this a little bit more, and move aside a little bit. Great, so you don't want to lock the elbow, it's still soft. Push the hands in, spread, turn and externally rotate. Again, try to roll the shoulder blade down the back, and then well done. Jim's already begun to think about tucking his chin a little bit. You might move back a little bit so you're not reaching forward. So close your ribs, close your chin again. Nice job. And last of all, let's take ourselves to the wall, hands at the wall, walk yourself back and just have a nice stretch here. And then bring your hands down to the mat. We'll take some cats and cows. So stacking your knees underneath your hips and arms underneath your shoulders, feet and knees are hip distance apart. When you're ready, just tuck the chin and gaze towards your belly and take yourself into a nice tuck. Good. And then the opposite way, inhaling. So we'll just pause here. So Jim overextended, but then he corrected, which was great. So just remember, if your chin's like this, you're overextended. We want to keep that chin tucked if we can. Keep going, Jim, that's great. Open your fingers nice and wide, just like we've done. Push through every fingertip and through the thumb. Can you open your fingers a bit wider so you've got that's better. So we're still thinking about externally rotating these triceps, externally rotating up. So I can come and do that for Jim. I can come and take his triceps and draw them forward even more. Draw them forward. Imagine I'm there at home to help you do that. Beautiful. So pause here and see if we can get a little bit more dip here. So make your arms like poles, like we've just done. We put a block between our hands. We imagined they were poles. We drew them up. Make them like poles now. So there's no flexing at the elbow. So we really get as much movement now in that upper back as possible. So exhaling again, tuck the chin, widen, 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 and then the other way. So we want to see lots of space in here. Great job. One more time forward. Beautiful. One more time back. Nice job. That's great. Okay, so from there, think of those lovely arms like poles, and we're going to come into a plank. So you could take one leg behind you, then the other. Just move us so we can see Jim a little bit better. Great. Draw your heels back as far as you can. Lift the knees. And I wonder if you can think about just gently bringing your buttocks down towards your hips, just on a little bit of a lean. So it's a little bit of tap your toe, your sore toe, yeah. And then puffing up between those shoulder blades. So puff up where my hand is, that space between your shoulder blades, that's it, good. And push through the fingertips, that's beautiful, well done. And then bend the knees. Good, push yourself back into a child's pose. So hips back to knees and stretch forward. Great job. Can we come onto our fingertips so our arms are quite alive? So can you lift your elbows, Jim? Come onto your fingertips. So you still have all your whole hands on the ground, but we just are lifting these forearms. And again, rather than taking our elbows out, can we bring our elbows in? So we're taking that rotation again to open up these collarbones. Nice job. Keeping that nice width, hugging outer arms in. Take yourself to your down dog. So tuck your toes under into your down dog. And again, take a few seconds here. Open up the fingertips. Push through those thumbs and forefingers. Open your fingers a lot wider, Jim, and push through your forefinger knuckles. Great. Again, rotating. So other way, rotating that way. Good. Keep rotating your inner arms up. Beautiful. I love the way Jim's got a lovely big bend in his legs, so he's got a beautiful straight back here. Feel the muscles of the glutes drawing down. And can you hug your bottom in? So these muscles at the sides of the hips drawing in. That will help open up those hamstrings. And you could keep having a bent down dog, bent legs in your down dog the whole time. That would be really appropriate. Beautiful. One more big breath in. And one more big breath out. Look up. Come onto your tiptoes and just walk up to your hands. So onto your tiptoes there. And we'll take a forward fold, Uttanasana. So bend your knees as much as possible so that you can have that lovely feeling of both of your chest being heavy. Tuck the chin. Great job. And if this is hard for you, absolutely, you could put your hands on some blocks. I'll just give Jim some blocks just until we warm up a little bit. Great job. So again, draw the muscles of the hips in. These glute med muscles, these outer hip muscles draw in. Tuck the chin and feel that you can lift the hamstrings up a little bit as you tuck. Weight into the toes a little bit more. Beautiful. Keep your hands in your blocks if that's helpful, and we'll inhale to halfway lift. So hands might be on thighs, shins, still on the blocks. So on a straight back here, Jim. So use those shoulders again. Rotate your elbows forward. Think about this external rotation again. Broaden through the collarbones. Tuck the chin. Use the push of the hands on those knees to flatten and straighten that back even more. So if I get my ruler out, what can you do to bring that head up to touch the ruler? Tuck the chin and do it again. Yep, that's better. So really want to use these muscles here to push and lengthen back, lengthen back. Nice job. Okay, exhale back down to the mat or forward fold with your hands or back down to the blocks. Tuck the chin. Beautiful. Open your feet hip distance apart maybe, Jim, that might help a little bit as well. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen that back. Use the hands to push, rotate, externally rotate those elbows forward a little bit. Tuck your chin, Jim. Get that lovely long feeling. Tuck the chin again, beautiful. And then exhaling, forward fold again. Tip the weight into your toes. And inhaling, halfway lift. Rotate your elbows, yep. Tuck the chin, get that feeling of length. One more time, forward fold. And one more time, halfway lift. Beautiful. You could just let your blocks come to one side. Beautiful. And we'll come down, take our hands to the mat. Spread the fingers wide. Step your right leg back. Bring it down to the mat. Think of the muscles of the glutes hugging in as we come up and bring our arms up to a lunge. Beautiful. So muscles of the hips coming in. Tuck this hip under. Push through the heel. And then take your hands down to the mat. Step back to plank. Good. Again, hug the muscles in. Draw those heels away from you. And can you puff between your shoulder blades? You've got a big space here. You puff between there a bit more. Beautiful. Exhale to down dog. Inhale and lift your left leg back. Exhale, step it forward back to a low lunge again. You drop that back knee. Beautiful. Lift the arms up. And again, externally rotating here. So draw the triceps back. Roll the shoulders down the back. Sparking through the hands, straightening the elbows, spark through the fingers. Beautiful. Exhale, hands to the ground. Look up, look straight ahead as you step forward back to our halfway lift. Straight away to halfway lift. Beautiful. And then all the way up, inhaling, arms up, look up, arms up, and hands to our sides. Nice job, Tadasana. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, hands back down to the mat. Halfway lift, inhaling, look up, widen the collarbones. Exhaling, hands down. Good. Step the left leg back and down to a lunge. So you can let that back knee drop, going back to where we came from. Beautiful. Hug the hips with your muscles. So draw these glute muscles in. Rotate your arms, Jim. Beautiful. Roll the shoulders down the back. And we're holding here. Push this heel into the mat. 3 breaths. You can have a tuck toe like Jim, or you could flatten your foot, whatever feels good for you here. 2 and 1. Step back to plank. Hold your plank. Beautiful. Can you, again, puff up in here? You've got a very big space here. We want no space at all. That's better. Good. Squeeze your glutes. Pull your hips up a little tiny bit. Nice job. And then big breath in as you exhale back to your down dog again. Great job. Hold your down dog. You might want to paddle your feet out a little bit. Can you rotate your elbows up again, widen through those collarbones? Can you hug your bottom muscles in towards the midline to help open up your hamstrings and give you that stability in your hips? Beautiful. And then inhaling, lift your right leg up and step it forward. Back to that low lunge. That means the knees on the ground. And again, hug those hips in. Feel that right hip coming back, left hip forward a little bit. Maybe rotating the arms, sparking through the fingers, maybe looking up, maybe looking straight ahead. Just being aware of your compensations again. Dropping the chin, dropping your ribs. One more big breath in. And then exhale, hands to the mat, look forward, and we're stepping forward to the front of the mat again. Straight into halfway lift. And then exhale, forward fold. Beautiful. Hug those hips in again. Tuck the chin, roll up one vertebra at a time and coming back up to arms up overhead. Tuck the chin as we look up and then hands to heart center. We'll stay here with our hands at heart center for about 3 breaths. So we're just going to dedicate our practice to someone or something, someone you love or something that you value, or maybe just an opportunity to feel gratitude here. Grateful for your body, grateful for the opportunity to care for your body or to care for yourself and take some time for yourself. Beautiful. And let's move on. Inhaling, arms up. Rotate the biceps back. Beautiful job, James. Exhale and forward fold. Inhaling, halfway lift. And exhaling, plant your hands back down and walk back to your plank again. So lovely and long with those bodies. Can you lift your bottom up, Jim? Can you widen between the shoulder blades? Puff up in the shoulders. Perfect. Well done, you. And then let's drop our knees down. And we'll come from our knees and down to the mat. So we can tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin, and keep ourselves into a lovely long line as we come down to the mat. We'll try that again, James, with a lovely long back. So drop the knees, come back, drop the knees. Can we have a long back here? So puff between these shoulder blades again. Pull up the belly, and then just bend the elbows to come down. Nothing else needs to bend. Beautiful. And then we can come up to a little cobra. So bring our arms back, a little tuck of the chin, and exhale back to our down dog. So when we do those, we need to roll our feet forwards and backwards as well. And then inhaling, look up. Exhaling, and lots of little steps to get to the front of the mat again. As many little steps as you need Beautiful. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Weight towards the toes if you can. Inhaling, rolling up, lift those arms, and maybe again externally rotate. So rotating those arms back, dropping the ribs, dropping the chin, before bringing our hands to our heart center and back to our sides again. Beautiful. Let's take another sun salutation. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, forward fold. So forward fold all the way down to the mat. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhaling, step back to plank. So widen through your shoulder blades, Jim. You've got to puff up in here. Lift up your ears so they're in line with your shoulders. Beautiful. Drop your knees, but not your belly. Good. And can you flatten your feet on the mat as you do that? Good. And then coming down to the mat, just bending those elbows only. Beautiful. Inhaling to little cobra or an up dog. And then we turn these toes over as we exhale back to down dog. Good. Lifting up again, rotating those arms, hugging the muscles of the butt into the midline, and maybe opening those feet up to hip distance or legs together, whatever works best for your body. So you're beginning to open up your hips. You might find your way can open. You can begin to stretch those knees a little bit, James, and you actually probably could take a longer stance. Let's see, because when we down dog is the same length as a plank, so we'll probably be able to find out next time. Big breath in and look up. As you exhale, you could take lots of little steps, or perhaps with those arms like poles, straighten your arms at any bend in the elbow. Can you jump your feet up to the front of the mat? Beautiful. And then straight away, halfway lift, so looking up. Beautiful. Exhaling, forward fold. Weight in your toes, and then all the way up. So I would definitely have your feet hip distance apart, James. That will probably help with the hamstrings. Beautiful. And then hands to our sides. One more time like that. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, forward fold. Weight in the toes. Inhaling, halfway lift. Weight in the toes. Use those biceps. Good. Exhaling, plant the hands down. Step back to your plank pose. Widen between those shoulder blades, puff up, tuck the chin. Good. And then you can either drop the knees or keep the knees up off the mat if you've got the strength, just bending the elbows only as you come down. So widen between the shoulder blades. Widen between the shoulder blades. Don't let those shoulder blades move as you come down. Okay. And then up to our upward dog. So tuck those feet. And you've overextended your neck. Beautiful. And exhaling, lead with your thighs to come back to down dog. Open your feet to hip distance apart again. Beautiful. We're here for 3 breaths. We are weight bearing, building up strength here. Rotating those elbows forward. 2 and 1. Inhale, look up. And exhale, jump or step to the front of the mat again. Beautiful job. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhaling, forward fold. And then coming all the way up again. Hands to heart center. Nice job. Okay, let's take ourselves against the wall again. So you could turn around, Jim, with your back to the wall. And we're going to come down to a chair pose. So maybe bring your feet out so that you can bend as if you were sitting against the wall. Beautiful. And feet are hip distance apart and feet are parallel. So just check your big toes out at there. Your second toes out in line with your shin and knee. So I would just say bring them in slightly. They look a little bit pigeon-toed almost. And if you can, arms straight ahead. And again, we can think about externally rotating. Maybe you can bring both arms forward and both arms back a couple of times, just finding that range again. Beautiful. And maybe you could glide your arms up, just checking your compensation. So are your ribs popping? Is your chin popping? Feel how far the weight is back on your heels. Beautiful. And then sliding up. Have a little break. Come away from the wall. Did you feel like your weight was on the back of your heels as you were doing that?
Was it even?
It was even, okay. See if you can get more weight in the back of your heels this time. And if you can have this feeling of the shins moving back as well. So we'll do one more time. We won't be quite so slow because I bet that was making your thighs burn. So bring yourself back to that chair pose. Coming down to whatever place you can, but 90 degrees like gym is perfect. Can you feel your shins are moving back? I'm going to hold on to your ankles. Can you resist that and pull your shins back towards the wall? Cool. Is your weight more on your heels now?
Yeah.
Great. Try and keep that action and then bring our arms up again, any amount. Straighten the elbows, holding here for 3, 2, draw your shins back again, 1, and gliding up the wall. Beautiful. So we'll try and keep that kind of idea as we now go into a couple of standing poses, that our shins are back, that our weight is in our heels, and that we want to come down as much as possible to really get those quads on. If our quads are on, our hamstrings can relax and release. And we are trying to relax and release our backline, our hamstrings this afternoon. So let's both face the mat, James. And if you want to, you can always do these kind of things on a block too. They really help you with focus and with firing up those glutes. So I'll do mine on a block, but James, you don't have to. You can see how you feel. So put that to one side. So let's come down to that chair pose to begin with. I'll go side on, Jim. You could go straight ahead. And we're just going to bring our hands forward and shins back, bottom back, shins back, bottom back, shin back, bottom back, until we've got ourselves down to that 90-degree position. Now I'm leaning forward a lot, so can I tuck my tailbone? Can I squeeze those glutes in and use that stability to bring my torso up? You can put your hands on your hips and help yourself come up. Bring the shins back, and now arms up. Bottom down, hug those hips in. Maybe you can bring your arms up a little bit as well. And again, tuck your tailbone, bring yourself down a little bit more. So the wee play between closing the ribs, tucking the tailbone, bringing the arms up. And then again, draw the heels back, tuck the tailbone, close the ribs, bring your arms back. Beautiful. Can you put your weight into your right hip? Really think about hugging the muscles of the right hip in and just hover your left leg up off the mat. Feel the muscles really hugging on the right. Don't let it pop. Put it back down. Try that on the left. Hug the muscles of the left in and then lift the left leg up. Good. And bring it back down. We're going to do that again. Let's just come up and have a wee break. Arms up. Exhale, hands down. Great. And then we'll come back to our chair pose again. So bending down, shins back, weight in the knees, arms forward, maybe arms up a little bit. Feel that you're reaching all 4 sides of the waist up here. Can you put all your weight into your right leg, hug the muscles of the right hip in, hover your left leg up, and maybe you can cross up and over into our eagle pose. So left leg over right. Maybe you can bring your arms down. Good. And we'll do our right arm under left arm. You could hug your shoulders, hands over shoulders, hug once or twice. Holding here for 3, 2, and 1. Inhaling, arms up, and let everything go. Beautiful. Let's try that on the other side, and I'll just use a block. If you wanted to use a block, you absolutely could, but you don't have to. So coming down into that chair pose again. Got both feet on one block. You could have 2 blocks side by side. Shins back, muscles of the glutes drawing in, tucking the tailbone, and arms up. all the weight into the left glute this time. Right leg up and cross it once, cross it twice maybe. Good. And then right arm under, maybe hugging once, maybe hugging twice, and holding. Squeeze the glutes in to each other, to the midline. Hug your legs to each other. Hug your arms to each other. Can you come down a little bit lower? Can you pull your belly button up? And then unwinding. Enjoy that beautiful release. Great job. Karali tō mahi. Let's take that into a little, we'll build on that. So from the Garudasana, the eagle, we'll step back into a floating pose. We did that a couple of weeks ago, Warrior 3. So we'll just keep moving on this, opening up the hamstrings, drawing those muscles in. So can you go back to your eagle, so back to your chair pose again? And maybe if you be side on, it's good for people to see you that way if you're side on. Beautiful. And we can definitely have a gap between the knees. That's a really good idea. You can also put a block between your knees if you're just starting out and building strength here. Let's put the weight into the right leg, lift the left leg up and over. Good. And then our left arm under, right arm on top. Could be a single hug, could be a double hug. Beautiful. And whatever you can do to even your hips up. So it would be right hip forward, left hip back, if you could. Maybe you can tuck your chin and let yourself come down. Put your hands and knees to join a little bit more. You tuck your chin, good. And then maybe you could glide that left leg back behind you into warrior. That's it. Beautiful. Hug all the muscles of that right hip in. Maybe just hands to your hips to begin with while you get the hips stabilized. So drop that left hip down. You put both hands on the block and just get your hips nice and neutral. So roll this left hip down. Cool. Roll the left hip down. That's it. Straighten this leg if you can. Roll the hip down so it's nice and even. Maybe you need to bring your block forward a little bit. So your hips aren't neutral at all. There. Make your hips neutral. Good. And that's enough. Holding for 3, 2, 1. Bend that front knee as much as possible. Glide the back left leg back. And we're up into a beautiful lunge again. This time we're in with our leg up off the mat. But you could absolutely put your leg back down there if you wanted to. And then hands back to the mat. Step back to our down dog again. Beautiful. Take a few breaths here. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling, look up, and then step or walk to the front of the mat again. Beautiful. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And then let yourself roll up one vertebra at a time all the way back up to standing. Great job. We'll try that on the other side. So, do we have the left leg crossing over?
Yeah, so.
Okay, cool. So coming down to our squat, my usual confusion with left and right. Down we come to a squat again. Beautiful. And right leg over this time. So weight into the left. Draw these muscles of the left side in. I like the way Jim's so active through his foot. I'd even flex the foot. Flexing the foot really gets your glutes fired up. And then you could cross your left arm under right. And if you can, draw the left hip back, right hip forward. And maybe you can begin to close down. Think of that cat back. Can you puff up through your back, tuck your chin, bring yourself down, and then unwind that front leg up and back behind you. Absolutely using a block underneath your hands so you've got your hips stable. So can you drop that right hip even more, Jim? That's it. pushing through your heel, drop the hip even more. And then whatever you can do to straighten your standing legs. If your hamstrings are a little bit tight, this is challenging, but this is why we're doing it. We're strengthening those hamstrings. Beautiful. One more big breath in. As you exhale, bend that front leg as much as possible so we can glide the back leg down, coming back up to a lunge. Beautiful job. Arms up. Back heel is lifted. Maybe you can come back down to that 90-degree angle on the front leg. Have a nice wide lunge here if you can. Beautiful job. Externally rotate your arms again. Looking straight ahead. Big breath in, and as you exhale, hands down to the mat and bring yourself back to down dog again. Taking about 5 breaths here. Make your dog a lot longer, James. Now you've warmed up, you probably all can take a longer dog, and if you're not sure how long it should be, just come forward to a plank, and if it's the same length, then yep, you know that your dog's a good length. We don't really want to be fiddling too much with our legs in between. Great job. Another big breath in. Beautiful. And as you're ready, you can exhale and then look up, jump or step to the front of the mat, whatever works for you. Great job. And we're going to come into some more opening positions here. So Jim, can you turn to face the camera and open your legs wide? Nice big wide pose. Heels are in line and our feet are looking slightly pigeon-toed, so the outside edges of the feet are in line with the mat. Beautiful job. And hands on the hips, roll the shoulders back, squeeze elbows together, tuck the chin, and let yourself come down to that halfway lift feeling again. And if you needed to have your hands on a block, absolutely use a block. Find that halfway lift feeling again to a lovely long straight back here. Can you bring your right arm up and have a nice windmill effect here? I would just close your legs a little bit more so you have straight legs. Yep, that's it, perfect. Nice work. And then exhale, bring your arm down. And try that on the other side. Yep, perfect, lovely rotation there. Keep lifting those knees. And then hands back down again. Beautiful. Tuck the chin. Maybe you can bend your elbows back so they look like more of a teepee position. Yep. Can you draw your hands back towards your feet? Great job. Tuck your chin and just let yourself fold here. So you want those legs to be straight. So if you're not straight, you might need to bring them in closer, especially if you've got long legs. Experiment with how far and how close they need to be. If you've got long legs, you probably need to take them further out. If you've got shorter legs, probably bring them further in. And let's bring our hands on our hips, squeeze elbows in, and feel those elbows pulling us back up to standing again. Nice job, good. Can we pivot our front foot forward and the back foot just in, so it's about at 2 o'clock. Or 10 o'clock. Yeah, perfect. Great job. And again, we want to come down to a 90-degree angle. So bringing ourselves down. And we can bring our arms out nice and wide. Beautiful. Can you let your back hand just be on your thigh? Good. And then lengthen forward. And maybe you can bring your hand to the inside edge of your foot. Great job. And then use that hand that's nearest you, to help roll the shoulder back. Great job. Keep rolling the shoulder back, and then we can bring the arm up overhead and then in front of us. Keep rolling the shoulder back. Maybe you can look up to your armpit, so turn your head and look up to your armpit, lengthen, 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 rolling back. Squeeze these glutes in. Can you put the outside edge of your toes on the mat, so your little toe side on the mat? You want to be active through the outside edge here. Good. One more big breath in. Lift yourself up. Back to that forward, wide-legged forward fold. So back up to this position. And this time, hands on the hips as we bring ourselves down again. I'd make your stance much, much shorter. Perfect. And then bring yourself down. Beautiful. Hands on the hips, keep them there. Can we squeeze the elbows in as we come down? Good, keep squeezing elbows in, rotating in here. Squeeze this area together. Tuck your chin and squeeze. That's it. Weight, if you can, towards the toes, nice and even, active through these ankles. So bring your outer ankles in. Great job. And maybe for the last few seconds, you could bring your hands to the mat. Maybe you can hold onto the outside of your shins or the outside of your feet or your big toes. Something to grab hold of to help yourself come down a little bit more. Keep rolling your weight forward towards your feet, your toes, Jim. Keep your right back on your heels, so you roll yourself forward. That's it. And keep hugging the muscles of the outer hips in. Outer hips in, rolling the weight forward. Tucking the chin, filling the space above the belly, lifting and releasing. And then hands on the hips again. Feel that pull as we come up. Beautiful. We're going to take extended side angle the other side this time. So turn the toes, and can you just pivot your foot? Yeah, even further up, this toe up. That's it. Cool. So, and if you can, come down to a 90-degree angle as much as possible. Good. And you could definitely put a block on the inside. So we'll try that this time, James, and put your hand there. And then we've got something to push up against to rotate this hip open. Good. Hand could be on the hip or down the side while you just establish the sense of opening through the chest. Muscles on here, draw the muscles in, tucking the chin. Good. And then maybe you can bring this hand up and over. And try not to use that to close the chest. You're still opening up the chest. Looking up towards your bicep if you can. Holding for 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Push into the heel as you come back up to standing again. Last time in this wide-legged forward fold, we're going to take our hands behind our back. And if you're a little bit tight between your shoulder blades, you could absolutely hold and pull apart something like a little towel. Otherwise, a reverse prayer, holding onto the hands and drawing them behind the back. So again, third time, we're really opening up these areas. So tuck the chin, be aware of your compensations, gently bring your glutes in and coming down again. That's it. Can you bring yourself down again? Nice job. And let's squeeze the shoulder blades in even more. Draw the outer heels in, tuck the chin, and keep rolling the shoulder blades in. Remember, it's your pec muscles. Try and release your pec muscles at the front there, darling, so you can relax in here. Keep drawing your arms back behind you if you can. We're here for 3 and 2. Weight on your toes, Jim. Weight forward. 1. And then use that pull to pull yourself back up to standing again. Nice job. And once you're there, we can use that pull to draw the arms behind us in a standing position as well. You could bring your feet together, inch them forward. So the great thing about a little towel like that is we can use it for stretching. So we can just hold it there and squeeze it together anytime. Doing the dishes, after a shower, a quick stretch can really help there. Okay, let's move on, and we might come down to the mat. So we'll take a squat, and Jim's got a block behind him, which is super useful. If you didn't have a block behind you, you could absolutely put a rolled up towel underneath your heels as well. So go along and do what you need to do to find a little bit of comfort here. So a towel underneath the heels, a block underneath your bottom, and then we want the weight back on the heels, big toes and other toes stretching forward. Maybe you can put your elbows inside your hips there. And maybe you can tuck your tailbone and feel your pubic bone coming up towards the ceiling a little bit more. Roll the shoulders down the back. Can you again widen the collarbones, tuck the chin, and just be aware again of relaxing what you don't need to use. So your jaw's nice and soft, maybe give it a wriggle, teeth apart, tongue to the roof of the mouth, tucking the chin. Just let that tailbone be heavy and lengthen down towards the mat. We're here for another few seconds. Maybe you can open your knees a tiny amount more. Maybe you can tuck your tailbone, lift your pubic bone up to the ceiling a tiny bit more. Maybe you can widen your collarbones a tiny bit more. Just another few seconds here. The great thing about Malasana is that it means we're down towards the mat. So we can just let ourselves arrive on the mat a little bit more. And again, it's a great opportunity here to pop a towel or a blanket, something underneath your bottom. So James, I'll give that to you. And we'll go on to some nice twists and some nice openers of the back here. So first of all, we will just hold the opposite arm. So I've got my right arm on my left thigh and use that to lift up. Good. And then an open twist. I'm actually opening away from my hand and having a nice open twist here. Maybe looking over my shoulder. Bring your hand quite close to your bottom so you're not leaning back. So Jim, what can you do so you're not leaning, so you're getting more of an open twist? Beautiful, that's great. Onto your fingertips maybe, or even a block behind you so you get a little bit more. And I'm pushing this knee away from me to give me even more twist open. Let's take that on the other side. So holding onto the leg, pushing that knee away, opposite hand up to get some lovely length through the side waist. Fingertips on the mat and then using that to help rotate, but not leaning back. We're trying to open up our chest a little bit more. Keeping on thinking about opening up these chest muscles, which can be really tight and short, letting our shoulder blades draw together and down the back. Let's go on to our tummies now, and really useful to put a blanket underneath the thighs if you can. So James, when you lie down, your thighs are on that blanket. So your tummy is on the mat now. Great job. Cool. And we're going to just do a little bit of opening up through our thoracic spine. So you could draw your arms out to the side like aeroplane wings. We've got a bit of a wall there, so yeah. And then coming onto those fingertips again, like we began the class, really active through the forearms. So can you lift your forearms up off the mat? Good, and a wee micro bend in the elbows. And use that micro bend to help roll the shoulders back. So I would say to Jim, let's tuck the chin, put your forehead on the mat, and if you did have a little towel, that could always go underneath the forehead too. So there we go. So put your head in the mat, forehead in the mat. That's it. Great. So again, onto the forearms, onto the fingertips and forearms. Lift the forearms up off the mat, a wee micro bend, and use that to help roll these shoulder blades down the back. Nice job. So again, thinking of rolling down and together, down and together. Good. Keep those elbows out and wide. Can you slide your hands into your waist? Slide your hands into your waist. Good. And then keep that idea. Roll the shoulders back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. And maybe you can gently pull your hands back and feel your chest reaching away from you. Can you reach your chest away from you and lift your chest up off the mat? So bottom down, it's just the chest lifting up. Relax the bottom. The bottom isn't being involved here. Good. And then come back down again. Good. Bring your arms out to the side like aeroplanes. See if we can do it this time with this bottom relaxed. I want to feel these glutes drawing down. Okay, onto the fingertips again. A little bit micro bend in the elbows. So bring your arms back out where you came from, darling. Onto the fingertips, lift the forearms. A wee micro bend in the elbows so you can roll the shoulders back. Good. Now slide your hands in. Good. So we're thinking about pulling the hands back. So I'm going to put my hands on his forearms. Can you resist me as you pull your chest forward? Pull your chest forward. That's it. Now roll your shoulders down the back. Good. Tuck the chin. And relax the bottom. So relax that. Turn that bottom off. Doesn't need to be getting involved. And then kia toe. Relax again. Head down. Arms out to the sides one more time. So it's really common for people's bottoms to come on like that, especially high up here. So try to instead get the outer hips to come on. Outer hips come on. I'm going to push down onto your sacrum this time. So we'll do that one more time, but this time our arms are going to be behind us. So come onto your fingertips again, James. Good. Roll the shoulders down the back, that wee bend in the elbow. Just walk your hands back behind you, palms up. Keep that same. Let's go back to where you came from without all that moving. So we don't want the scapula moving. Shoulder blades down the back. Keep them just where they are as you bring your arms behind you. Keep these from moving. You bring your arms back. Don't let it drop.
Where do you want?
Back where they're back behind, yeah, but without dropping. Yes, because our shoulder blades are stabilizers, they're not movers. Turn your part, you can push, you can pull those hands up towards the wall, right towards your shoulders as you roll your shoulder blades back. Good, and glide up again. Gliding up. Can you bring your head up off the mat, maybe your shoulders? No, not too much. Don't want the bottom getting involved. That's it. Perfect. Holding. 3, 2, 1, and then bring yourself back down. Great job. This time we're going to lift our legs and our arms. So bring your arms back out again like aeroplanes. Roll the shoulders back. Can you turn your palms up towards the ceiling without moving your scapula? Both of them. Good. Roll them back behind you. Keep them lifted. Yay! And maybe you can bend your tuck your toes. Good. And maybe you can glide everything up off the mat. Can you glide your legs, glide your arms? Again, hugging here but relaxing here. Lift your head as well. 3, 2, 1. Let everything go. Wow. That's pretty hard work, isn't it? Opening up that upper back and strengthening that mid back. And interesting to see what compensations we have when we do that. Glutes firing up, ribs popping, chin popping, shoulders coming from around our ears. So it's a great opportunity just to observe your body with love and compassion and see what it does when it is having to come into extension. So from here, we'll just roll to one side and onto our backs, James. Yay. And we'll come into some nice twists and then a reclined fish, which is similar to how we began the class. So we can bring our knees into our chest. And then once those knees are in your chest, could you hold on to your shin, the front of your shins, and give us a really nice squeeze? Good. And then let yourself use your tummy muscles here to take your knees towards the left, but don't let them drop onto the mat. Hands can be at your sides. Knees squeezed, feet flexed, and then use your tummy muscles to bring yourself back to neutral. Beautiful. Exhale, take your legs away. Inhale, bring them back. Let's do that again. So exhale, take your legs away. Inhale, stay here. Can you stack those feet and knees, James? Good. Exhale, back to the middle. Inhale, stay here. Exhale towards me or towards the screen. Hold as you inhale. Exhale, bring them back. Beautiful. And let's now take a big breath in. Exhale, bring your knees towards me. Arms could be back out into those aeroplane arms or cactus arms, and you can let your legs arrive on the mat. If they don't, please do put a blanket underneath them, let the feet relax as well, and let's draw this hip down. If you had someone at home, they might help pull opposite ends away, opening up this chest again. You could then finish off the stretch by looking in the opposite direction, so by looking over your shoulder. Nice big breath in. As you exhale, bring your legs up, take them over to the opposite side. And again, they can be quite different our sides, so you might need support underneath your knees or underneath your shoulders. Maybe look over your shoulder if that was nice. There's no rush to get anywhere. We're here for a good 30 seconds. So big breath in. As you exhale, let everything go. Inhaling, draw the hip down. And exhaling. Inhaling. And exhaling. One more inhale. And one more exhale. Beautiful. And then we can bring our knees back into a tuck again. And in time, perhaps your tailbone and back of the head are on the mat. You can stretch out so much. We'll take a reclined fish now. So if you bring your feet to the mat, bend the knees and lift your bottom up off the mat. Then slide your hands underneath your bottom, and they're going to be side by side underneath your bottom there. Good. Maybe you can roll one shoulder than the other so that you've got bent elbows. Your elbows are underneath your bottom as well. So keep rolling one shoulder than the other, one shoulder than the other. Can you lift your chest even more so you get more of your shoulders underneath you? And if I lift up here, yep, can you even more? There you go. Maybe that's perfect. And then let your bottom come down onto your hands. Keep your hands there. You could even interlock your fingers, and you could keep your knees bent, or you could lengthen your legs out. And we keep lifting up this chest. So I'll come and just help lift up this chest. Can you roll the shoulders underneath you even more? There you go. One more time. Squeeze your elbows. Good. Try and lift that chest as much as possible. And if this doesn't feel like it's actually helping, that you're getting any lift at all, you could absolutely put a rolled up blanket or towel or one of those blue stability balls again underneath you. So James, I'm going to give you a little bit of lift here. So just roll to one side. There. Yeah, there we go. Open up this chest. Now, can you get those hands underneath you a little bit more? Lift that chest a little bit more. There, that's it. And really, at this point, if you'd like to extend your neck, you could absolutely extend that neck, or you could support the back of the head, whatever feels good for you here. So because we are heading towards Shavasana and the end of the class, we're slowing that breath down. So we're coming back to beautiful slow inhales and slow exhales. Trying to bring the breath down towards our pubic bone. Inhaling, feeling that belly lift, maybe opening the sides of the ribs as well. One more minute here. Maybe you've got opened up a little bit more and you're able to roll your shoulders underneath you a tiny bit more. Can you get a little bit more lift, do you think, James, underneath your shoulders? Yeah, that's better. Nice. Lifting that sternum up, up, up. Just like at the beginning of the class with that little rolled up towel at our backs. We're just trying to get that connection there, opening up these pec muscles. And then when you're ready, we'll come into our Shavasana. So if you roll up, Jim, I'll take your blanket away. And if you do have a little towel, it's really nice to put it across your eyes just so you can get into your body, into your space. It's always nice to be able to shut off some of our senses. So we can't shut the sound off yet. Well, you could, and then you could just stay in Shavasana. But definitely nice to shut off our eyes. If it's getting cold, you could absolutely put a blanket over yourself. Would you like a blanket, James? Or socks or sweatshirt, something like that. So we're here for about 5 minutes, and that gives us time to really settle. Let's have a little body scan. So we'll just start with the feet, and we'll just relax those toes, relax the big toe, the little toes, maybe even flex and point them a couple of times, and just let them relax. And they can just open so that our heels are open, our heels are maybe together, toes apart. And then moving up to our calves, maybe squeeze the calves, release the calves, then let them be heavy, let them melt into the mat. And then our hamstrings, we can squeeze them if you've got that ability, if you've got that body awareness, relax them. The front of the thighs, squeeze and relax. We've also got an inner and outer thigh, so squeezing them as well, and then let them go, let them be heavy, let them be relaxed, let them be supported by the earth. Squeeze the glutes and relax the glutes, let them spread. Let your tailbone spread between them, little tuck of the tailbone, pubic bone up to the ceiling, so you've got that beautiful neutral spine. Relaxing the belly. Don't need to be using that belly now. So maybe a big breath in and then just let everything out. Relaxing the front of the chest. Relaxing the pakihiwi, the shoulders, let them broaden. Maybe turning your palms if you haven't. Squeeze the fists, let them go. Squeeze the forearms, let them go. Squeeze the biceps, maybe the triceps, and let them go. Let them be heavy. Let them be soft, let them melt into the mat. Can you soften and relax your lower back, let it melt into the mat, your middle back and your upper back. Maybe you can roll the shoulders up to the ears and let them just lengthen down the back. Soften the jaw. Can you soften your eyes? They're looking behind you. Maybe widening the eyelids so your eyelids are reaching slightly out so we can soften that space between the forehead, the eyes. Soften your forehead, soften your temples. And sometimes making an audible sound is a great way just to turn this jaw off. So we can take a big breath in and an H-A-ha sound out. So breathing in, H-A, letting it out. Let's do that again. Breathing in, H-A, letting it out. And enjoy your Shavasana. When you're really rolling to one side, use your arms and legs to help you come up. And we'll just take a cross-legged position. And again, it's quite a good idea to be seated on a towel or something like that so that you can have that nice neutral spine. So if you can, cross your shin so that you're even more so that you're crossing at the shin rather than the ankle. So draw them across a bit more. Cool. And we're just going to walk our hands forward, and you can absolutely put your hands on a block if you need to. In thinking about our halfway lift, can you pull your hands back so you can have that beautiful angry cat back, and then push your hands away, tuck your chin, let your sitting bones really stay on the mat and arch your back up. Inhaling, keep your sitting bones on the mat as you lengthen forward so don't lose that connection. You'll feel your tummy muscles really coming on. And exhale to move back again. One more time, angry cat back. Pull, keep that connection with your sitting bones. They're really heavy, your glutes on the mat. Exhale and roll back. Great job. And bring ourselves up to sitting again. Change the way your legs are positioned. Hands on the mat. Can you lift your bottom up? Pull your belly button up. Squeeze your glutes a little bit. Lower yourself back down. And we'll draw our arms forward again. Angry cat back. So pull the mat, James. So you can pull yourself up into an angry cat. And then push. So we can go the other way. Beautiful. Pushing and pulling, but trying to keep the connection with the sitting bones and the mat nice and true. Great job. And then we'll sit up nice and straight, hands to heart center. We'll just seal our practice with 1 minute of breathing together. So we'll just take about 3 beautiful slow breaths here. Inhaling and exhaling. Holding at the bottom. Inhaling. Holding at the top. Exhaling. Holding at the bottom. Flex the feet, active through those feet. Inhaling. Hold at the top. Exhaling. Hold at the bottom. Last breath, inhaling. Hold at the top and exhaling. Thank you so much for joining James and I. Great to see you, and I hopefully will see you tomorrow for Pilates at 9 a.m. or Friday 9 a.m. for Pilates as well, or maybe next weekend with James. Have a wonderful week. Keep safe and stay home. Tihe, Modi Order. Namaste.